Hi Aries, welcome to your August reading. So we have so much energy happening in August. We really do. So I've tried my best to break it down to the main major aspects that I think you'll need guidance for. And so we're just gonna get right into this and sum up what's going on for August, okay? So the first major aspect happening in August is the full moon slash eclipse on the 7th. So, what I think I'm going to do, because I've never planned these readings out, but I want to get some very clear messages for you guys. And I think I'm going to, well, it depends on the cards. So, we'll see how this goes. But I think I'm going to call these energies out and then do it like that. Because we also have Mercury retrograde on the 12th through September 5th. And that's happening in your 6th house. The full moon in Aquarius is happening in your 11th house, and the lunar eclipse on the 21st is happening in your 5th house, Aries. So, August is a pretty intense, gnarly month for all of us. So, yeah, that's just a little bit about what's going on. There's even more going on than that. Like, we have Venus going into Leo on the 26th, and Saturn goes direct on the 25th. Let's see, the sun is going to go into Virgo on the 22nd, so the sun will be entering your 6th house of lifestyle. But I think the major, because eclipses are really crazy, all right? And they're in Aquarius and Leo right now. So yeah, eclipses definitely start new cycles in life and things like that. So Aries, I'm going to ask the tarot cards now and ask Spirit to, so let's just see what will happen with Aries on the full moon slash eclipse on August 7th. It's a full moon in Aquarius, but I'm hearing that it's also considered an eclipse because of, the eclipse happening on the 21st. So let's get some cards for Aries for August 7th, the full moon eclipse happening in Leo. No, happening in Aquarius, sorry. I'm in their 11th house, so. All right, Spirit, what can we tell Aries? Is it just this one card? Or is there any other messages you would like me to touch on with them for this particular event? August energy for Aries. Any messages? Any messages? Okay, I think that was enough for that one, Aries. So, the first card that popped out was the Six of Pentacles. And I believe you may have got this card before, Aries. And I'm going to relate this to the full moon in your 11th house. So, interesting. 11th house is Aquarius, naturally. So, there's going to be a full moon there. And for the moon to be full there, it's definitely going to be shedding light onto the community that you're in, Aries, and into the groups of people that you work with, that you associate yourself with. So this is all about friends and where you live, like not where your house is necessarily, but where your community is. So Aries, you guys might be focusing more with this energy, around the 7th on where you live, like your environment, your community, people you associate yourself with, friends. And when the Six of Pentacles comes up to show you the balancing that's going to need to take place, because if you take a closer look at this card, this is a balanced man, right? This is a Six of Pentacles, so it's an even number. It's almost like he has 3 coins for himself and 3 coins to give to charity or people in need, because you see this man having a balance scale, which always reminds me of Libra, especially when I pull this card for Aries, because this is more of because Aries is the I am, and they're the house of self, the first house of self, very strong and bold people represented by the ram. So with that, with the ram energy, it's not that Aries aren't helpful, because some of the most helpful people I know are Aries. Like, you guys do the work of God daily, and you do it for free. You guys are like one of the most best signs. You don't allow it to go too far. And I'm glad that I'm saying that, because maybe some of you Aries are out there helping people so much, but just make sure you're getting that in return from the community around you, Aries, around this full moon. Because I think the Six of Pentacles comes up as a balancing energy, quite literally, make sure you're getting as much as you're giving in return. If you're feeling used or taken advantage of, the moon is going to show you that, and you may need to cut some people off. But there's also a celebratory energy that came out along with this message, the Three of Cups, which is the union of three or more energies. It's a celebration, you know, so there may be some things to celebrate around this. Like, actually, for this to come up for the 11th house energy, there might be at least three people that you do trust, Aries, that you will what is that called? Reconcile with. You may get together with three really good friends and have like-minded conversations and just like kind of festive, you know. This might, every Aries is different. This could be just meeting up, watching Netflix with a few people. This could be going out to the bar, having a few conversations, drinking some beer. Just a very festive energy. So this shows me that there are a few people in your life, Aries, that are worth your time and that actually deserve to celebrate with you, right? This is a very nice energy. And we have like the pumpkin there with fall approaching soon and the flowers, stuff like that. So yeah, the moon is going to show you where you could balance yourself more, Aries. Who's willing, who, it's going to show you who your real friends are. That's what I'm seeing. And then the last card we have for the first aspect on the 7th, the full moon in Aquarius, the Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Pentacles, it has become like one of my favorite cards as I've learned more about it. It's, you see this man, he comes to his garden, and these pentacles represent anything. For some people, it could represent a literal garden. But with the pentacles or the coins come up, it's more about value, which all our values are different. But, you know, just to in a nutshell, this is a man who comes out faithfully every day to this garden, and he puts in work, and he comes out. It's about knowing what your work is worth. It's about patience. It's about going with the flow of nature. Because this man understands that. He doesn't work against nature, he works with it. He knows when to come out and weed his garden. He knows when to pick certain pentacles off, you know, and he's very patient. This is a guy who's very, I want to say, consistent with the work he does, because he knows, you know, it's like the typical seed, you know. It's like he planted these weren't always pinnacles, you know, these were seeds once upon a time. And because of this patient and dedicated attitude that this man or woman shows towards their values, it's like slow and steady wins the race, you know. Like, he will be rewarded, and it's like he rewards himself by the hard work that he's done so far. So I think this is tying in with the balancing energy, Aries, because you do work very hard for what you have, and you work very, very hard for what you surround yourself with. So sometimes when you have a lot, you are able to give to people, but just make sure you're giving to the people with this energy, people who struggled with you and who celebrate with you, not just random people who maybe just want to take from you. This is a very balanced energy, and it's all reflecting the 11th house energy on this full moon on the 7th. So I hope that helped with that. There's just so many aspects this month that I'm going to try my best. So this little deck popped out too, Aries, and on the bottom of the deck we have the Two of Swords. So when I see cards on the bottom of the deck, it's an energy that's very, very deep because it's under the deck, right? You know, not all tarot readers, and sometimes I check the top of the deck too, because the top of the deck and the bottom of the deck rely. So on the bottom of the deck you have the Chariot card. So there might be some light and dark that Aries is dealing with, because you have the bottom of the deck, which is the Chariot, and I can show you that just in case some of you don't. So we have this Chariot card, right? And it's about the light and the dark. It represents a Cancer energy. So some of you, you know, it may be dealing with cardinal emotional energy. Maybe some of your emotions are getting put into action. Well, and it lies on top of the Two of Swords. So there's definitely an emotional decision that Aries is going to be making around the time of this moon. That's what I'm picking up on. And then there's this deck here that I definitely want to get some messages out to. The first two cards, well, I'm going to show you the first three. Well, you have two Ace cards. You have the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is first. And this is like a fulfillment energy. And this still is applying to the 11th house. And then we're going to talk about Mercury retrograde. We're going to talk a little bit about that for August. Okay, so this is the like cup overfloweth energy. I love when I see the Ace of Cups because it's just fulfillment, you know. It's like this hand coming out of the sky, just delivering you so much purity with the dove and everything like that. And then right directly followed after that, maybe if you, some of you Aries are going to be feeling fulfilled and more progressive, because you also have following that the Ace of Swords. So it's very interesting to have two ace cards come up right next to each other, quite literally. The Ace of Swords is similar to any of the ace cards, but this is about decisions. So Aries, the decisions that you have to make in your life, you are definitely the ace of them, and it's up to you. You have a lot, well, you know, you have the Two of Swords also in this reading. So whatever you're going back and forth on, Aries, there's whatever this speaks to you, all you Aries out there, you're going back and forth trying to figure out, and it's most likely an emotional decision or a decision that's going to cause emotions, which might be why the Ace of Cups is showing up, because once you actually become this ace, make those emotional decisions, you might feel fulfilled. And balance and justice is also coming to you. So we go back to this card here, you know, so this 11th house energy is really gonna give a lot of balance to Aries. You may be in a position of advice. Like I see a lot of, you know, figures here. These cards are similar. This is a Taurus and a Libra energy. You had Cancer show up a little bit for you. And there's celebrations in the future, Aries. So this full moon eclipse, you know, there's going to be a celebration with finances maybe. Or maybe you celebrate something that you find new of value, because Aries, let's face it, you have been working very hard, maybe not even just physically, but mentally and spiritually as well. And that's amazing, because we have these cards that show up right together, which is the work you do. And this is like ultimate, it's a 10 of wands. So this is someone who is working at full capacity. We do have some demons showing up for you, Aries. The Devil card shows itself to you, and it's paired with the Page of Wands energy. So this fire energy, you know, hellfire, stuff like that, you know, it can be showing up because we have this Page of Wands, which is a very fiery energy. And that just kind of shows, and it's a symbol for me, that this fire energy with all this, oh my God, so many things happening with Leo right now. And, you know, there is going to be an eclipse and things like that. So you may have been feeling left out in the cold, Aries. Like these cards show each other, because this energy, you know, the mean people in your life, the abusers, the codependent people, even relationships. Some Aries may be in a codependent relationship where you're feeling like kind of chained and trapped in the dark with evil. You know, and this could also be a Capricorn. You have Capricorn and Cancer, and you have Libra. So there's also a very light and dark energy, because that's what Cancer and Capricorn, the Devil, it's about opposite signs. And you have your opposite sign that came up, Libra. There's a lot of balancing going on. So not necessarily oppositions, but balancing, which is why you have the balance scale in your hand, right? Aries is trying to balance things out right now. Maybe be a little bit more like their opposite sign, Libra. Maybe Aries could benefit from some balance right now. This is not balance. This is one energy taking too much, one energy winning too much. So don't be afraid that this Devil card shows up, Aries. Most likely you guys have already been able to feel this kind of psychic dark energy. This could be an addiction. It can be bad things for your health. It's not literally, it can be sometimes, but you know, for the most part, it's not literally some figure like this. Like we all have the devil inside us in our minds. And that might be why there's balance being called to you, Aries, because this energy definitely calls for the balance of light and dark. In this situation, the darkness has prevailed, and these people are just chained to something that's sucking them. So it might apply to some of you Aries, especially if you've been feeling Five of Pentacle-ish. Interesting that you have the Five of Pentacle and the Six of Pentacle, which shows direct steps, you know. So you've definitely been working, Aries, and you know, and I'm not going to forget to show you this last card that you have, which is the Mercury energy. So I think this is my cards telling me to go ahead and move on to the Mercury retrograde, because the Magician card is ruled by Mercury. Interesting that this would show up as your last card for that spread, because it just really shows me that now it's time to move into the Mercury. So we're going to leave this card out and have the other cards kind of play off of it. But this is the Magician card, Aries. And, you know, there is an infinity. This man is covered in light. And the reason why this card is so cool is because if you take a closer look, He has all the suits on the table. He has the wand, the sword, the cup, the pinnacle, and he's infinite, you know? He's a magician. This card is badass. So there is a magician energy here for you, Aries. Like, look at all those energies you had. You had Capricorn and Cancer and Libra and Balance and light and dark, and you know. So of course you're the magician. You're the magician of the people around you, Aries, because of the 11th house energy. Interesting, 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 interesting. Oh yes, and around his waist is the snake. You know, I see those images a lot where the snake is eating its tail, and it just reminds me of like the everlasting flow, you know, of energy. It's like the death and rebirth caused by the individual. So, all right, with the Mercury card showing here, Spirit, we're gonna move on to the next major aspect happening in August, which is the retrograde, Mercury retrograde on the 12th. So for those of you who aren't aware of Mercury retrogrades, as an astrologer, I've tried to get more comfortable with these. We haven't had one in a long time, but this was one of the first things I learned about astrology. Like before I even knew my rising sign and my moon sign, I knew about Mercury retrograde. Mercury is the ruling planet for Virgo and Gemini, which are very logical people, very practical thinking communicators, kind of. Well, Mercury is the planet that represents all that. So when we have Mercury going retrograde, when any planet goes retrograde, you know, we have communication delays, quite literally electronic delays, like computers. It's just, oh my God, anything under the sun can go wrong. But it's, you know, that's just more the communication part. Don't be afraid. It's just, you know, keep your receipts when you buy stuff. Stay calm and patient if things aren't uploading, or if it's just, you'll see, Aries, they'll just be silly things, and I don't wish that on you. I hope this is a very light Mercury retrograde. It's in Virgo, and you know, it will be also in Leo at the end of the month, I think around the 31st or something like that. So, you know, yeah, Sun in Virgo. Mercury is going to enter Leo at the end of the month sometime, and I don't know where I wrote that at. It must be on the back of this or something, but yeah, it won't stay in Virgo. It'll definitely be transferring back into Leo after the retrograde. So yeah, Mercury retrograde. Let's see what this is gonna do with Aries. Well, more so advice. We had a few cards pop out. Oh wow, Aries, you popped out. Oh wow, and the 5 of Cups at the bottom of the card. So let's try to make some sense of this, because we definitely have the moon showing up for you. So even though we're talking about Mercury retrograde, the cards also want to bring, well, this is also the Pisces card. So this is interesting. Some Aries may be with Pisces, or, you know, friends with new Pisces energy, something like that. But this is also an intuition card, right? But what I'm really feeling with this is that this is symbolic for the moon coming up, the full moon, the eclipse. There's a lot of moon subliminal energy, subconscious energy happening, and that shows itself to you, Aries. But what I'm feeling is that around this Mercury retrograde and around this full moon, right, it will be bringing the magician type of feel to your intuition. Your intuition has probably been off the charts, Aries. Don't feel crazy or like weird or like overly psychic. You're just powerful, and you're the first house, you know, so all this is happening in your 11th house. I mean, there's some other energies there too, but mainly with Aquarius and Leo, that's your 5th house and your 11th house, which is amazing because that's what they naturally are, the 5th house and the 11th house, which is the childlike energy versus the mature, focused on community and humanity energy. Children just frolic and play, right? And Aquarius is that more serious energy on the other end of it. So I do see your intuition taking off. Your subconscious, you might be given a lot of messages. You might actually literally be going through phases like the moon, because there's definitely energy coming in. This card almost flew out of my hand when I tried to show it to you. So the Page of Swords, it's a very, very ready energy. You know, this reminds me of Aries energy in a way, because he's just ready. You know, he's not really aggressive, but he's just ambitious and energetic. This is an energetic energy. So this shows up, you know, because there's going to be some energy with Aries. And, you know, it may cause you to look at the positive and the negatives, but just try not to get caught up in the negative things, Aries, because there's always more that you're unaware of. And then there's also some emotional energy showing up for you, which is the Queen of Cups, you know, someone who's very, very nurturing and emotional, emotionally intelligent. So with all this eclipse and moon energy happening with you in your 11th house, there may be some emotion stirring up with people who are around you, like 11th house, you know. But I want to get to you, Aries, because you definitely showed up. There's this deck in my hand, and then there's this deck, which is the Cancer card. So let's see. We have Spirit is literally just speaking now, and it says that this is a message right for Aries. So what is it that we need to tell Aries? The Queen of Swords. So Aries, you are the queen of the decisions you're making. This is the Queen of Swords coming right after this, right? The Seven of Swords. Oh no, the Six of Swords. And this is a leaving energy that you may have had to. So there's still a spiritual journey or an emotional journey. This is very emotional for Aries, I'm seeing. You had the Queen of Cups, and then you definitely have a balancing energy going on, Aries, because now you have the King of Cups. So we have the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups. These two people have emotional matters understood. I, as a Pisces, try to strive to be like these people. But it's amazing that you have these two cards together, Aries. This is a feminine and a masculine energy, right? So we have feminine emotions, we have masculine emotions, and this just shows up as balance, right? You have that fish of intuition, you know, with that moon card still tied around your neck. So Aries has been on an emotional journey, I'm hearing, and you have definitely learned a lot about light and dark. And then we also have this Page of Wands with the Ten of Wands again, cards that are re-showing up for you. So there's definitely a fire energy. And I believe this is Mercury and not Mercury, Mars and Leo. This Mars is your ruling planet, Aries, and it's been in Leo. Leo is your 5th house, you know. So a lot of work that you've been doing, maybe some passion, is definitely completing, you know. And I see now that there has been some fighting energy that has started in Leo season. The Strength card is the Leo card. So the first message is that and it might not be real fighting. I don't see it as people actually fighting Aries. This seems more of a spiritual thing because it's the moon and I see all this water and Cancer energy. So it really is making me see it through water, which is emotion, spirituality, right? So yes, there's definitely been some up stirring up of energies in Leo season. But I also am compelled to say that this is a reminder of your strength too, Aries. There's a lot of fire, right? These are two fire cards. This is Leo and Aries, and you also had that Page of Wands. This is all fire energy. So your actual element, even though you're surrounded by water, there's a lot of fire, and I think that's why balance is showing up. And you also have the Ace of Wands, which is amazing. This is almost like the Ace of Swords, but this is more of a decision making with creativity and spirituality. So you might have some spiritual decisions to make from within to invoke your own power to make decisions. I believe it's connected to this energy, the Seven of Wands, which is a stay on top energy. But you have these two cards, Aries. This is beautiful to have together because this energy, the Seven of Wands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of Wands. You are the ace of this. So even though there are energies trying to knock you down, you're the ace. You have a lot of power in August, Aries. But to keep that power, you definitely need to relax and rest as much as you can. Don't overwhelm yourself. This is the Four of Swords, which is a calm, meditative state. This man is laying here, you know, in a church, and he's praying, and he's peaceful. He's in gold. So Aries, definitely take time to relax. We have the Two of Pentacles showing itself, and we also had the Five of Cups. No, the Six of Cups. Yeah, it's the Six of Cups. Six of Cups is a soulmate energy, and right beneath that was the Ten of Cups, Aries. So you have a really beautiful, wonderful energy coming in August, going into September. Here's these transformations coming. You know, this is the Death card of transformation, of rebirth, which Aries is directly connected to, like rebirth, because you guys are the first sign. And there may be some Three of Wands energy coming up for you, which is kind of not necessarily an escaping energy, but it's an energy of being by oneself, climbing a mountain, and reflecting on. I mean, you have a lot. Look at all these cards, Aries. Like, you have a lot to reflect on. You really, really do. Because you have these transformations, and this is a balancing of finances, which came up with the first full moon that we had. And we definitely have water energy showing itself to you. The Cancer card, which is cardinal emotion. But this Aquarius moon, the star card is the Aquarius energy, and you have lots of aces. I think all of the aces have shown itself to you. Yeah, you had every ace: the Ace of Swords, Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Pentacles. So I believe that this full moon in Aquarius, because Aquarius is the star card, it's also the follow your intuition card. It's beautiful, Aries. I can feel it, and I'm doing my best to explain it. There's just so much going on this month for everyone. So I wanted to get the basics out there, but don't worry. Look at all this. Look at all this wonderful energy. The Ace of Pentacles, money coming in, gifts coming in, blessings from the universe, all pouring into your life at the Aquarius full moon. And I love that this card comes up for you, Aries, not to be mean, but this means the pain that you've been going through is finally almost over. This is the 10 of Swords. There is no 11 of Swords, okay? Your pain is almost over. It's the darkest it can get. There's been a lot of fighting, 5 of Wands energy, not sure where it's going, this way and that way. But remember, you had that Ace of Wands. So this is also another good card to apply to the fighting energy. These are a bunch of kids with wands, and they're all fighting against each other. But you're the ace, Aries. And then you have the Page of Cups, and you have the King of Cups, the Queen of Cups, you have the Page of Cups. So all this is showing me that all this emotion you're going to feel, Aries, you're going to feel like not only your emotions, but like everybody else's emotions too. Well, you're just in control of that. And then we have the King of Swords, the Hanged Man. So you may be waiting to make certain decisions. You may have been resting and contemplating certain decisions. This is a quietly intense figure that has butterflies on his throne. So he's not that mean, and that's typical Aries. Like, you guys see him all mean, but if you look closer, he's actually quite subtle and nice. So there's maybe some decisions that you are waiting on making, Aries, which is totally fine. I hear that August is not a very good month to make decisions anyway, with all these eclipses going on and things like that. So it's perfectly fine to just hang out and gain light, get really in tune with the universe, things like that. I mean, if I had all this energy, Aries, going on, I would definitely want to wait and chill too. And then we end the reading with something being given to you, Aries. So in August, going into September, you may be given something. That's what I get out of the Knight of Wands, like someone who found something new. Right? And you have this shiny energy, and I love it because look at how protected you are at the end of the month, Aries. Like, this man is in full armor. His horse is black, not white. White would be purity, and it's okay not to show up pure. You're showing up bold on a black horse. You don't have time for a white horse, Black horse matters. But anyway, you're very protected, right? And you're very strong, and you have something new of value that you found. And because of that, your whole world is going to change, Aries. Everybody's world is changing right now. Literally, everybody's world. And it's so amazing that we have both Aquarius and Leo on this card. I love the World card and the Wheel of Fortune card because it's just a very balanced, fixed energy. You have the Scorpio and the Aquarius and the Taurus and the Leo energy right here at all edges of the card. And then you have this beautiful, free-flowing figure in the middle of this celebratory wreath because she's fought and now she's in a different realm and she's peaceful and naked, so she feels great and blissful, and vulnerability isn't a problem for her. She has a wreath not a wreath, but a ribbon around her body symbolizing just purity and just celebration. This is a beautiful kind of a good luck and a blessing. It means everything's coming together. The whole world, Aries, the whole world is about to change because of this Aquarius energy and Leo. And Aquarius and Leo both came up for your reading, of course, because you're an Aries, right? And you're the first sign. So I like to focus on what happens with Aries energy because in a way, Aries is a reflection of our whole universe, our whole zodiac wheel. So that was a lot of information, Aries. I don't know what's going to happen. I might have to do like a mid-August reading or something like that because There's just so much. There's just so much going on. I don't even think we got to the lunar eclipse. But I feel like the messages were in there. And I really hope so. This is like a 30-minute reading, and that's okay. If you guys have any questions, or if you would like me to pull some cards for you personally, go ahead and hit me in a comment below, or you can message me on Instagram, Facebook. On Facebook, my name is Braylon Janae Caldwell, and you'll be able to see like the similar pictures, stuff like that. On Instagram, I'm also Pisces Priestess. So yeah, guys, I don't charge for like all my readings. I haven't made it that far yet, and I probably will never charge that much, even when I get further into this. So feel free to comment and hit me a message. I would be willing and perfectly glad, and just totally open to giving you guys like a personal readings or anything like that. So feel free to hit me up. I really hope this reading helps you guys. Tons of information. Sorry, I don't even know if there's a perfect way to do this, but these are the messages I have for you as Pisces Priestess this month. And I'm so looking forward to hearing from you guys in Virgo season, as when these energies kind of slow down a little bit. So don't worry about all the craziness and all the intense vibes. Everyone can feel that right now. Just stay strong, Aries, and definitely don't lose sight of who you are during all this, because you represent the I am of everybody. If you don't know who you are, then none of us can know who we are. So just stay strong, stay that emperor and that empress, because no matter what, you're on your throne. An Aries can never get thrown off completely. And like I said, these energies will calm down when Mercury goes direct in September, right? So we will speak in around then sometime, okay, guys? And I love you. Pisces Priestess loves you. I'll talk to you soon.